The moment Emily Carter heard the front door open, she knew her quiet afternoon was about to change forever. She had been on her knees in the living room, wiping the baseboards for the third time. Not because they were dirty, but because her mind refused to slow down. Outside, a gray Ohio sky pressed against the windows, heavy with late summer rain. Inside, the house felt too empty for a woman who had once filled it with laughter, shared plans, and a marriage she believed would last. Emily was 42, divorced for just under a year, and still learning how to live inside silence. The door clicked shut. "Miss Carter." A male voice called out gently. "It's Ryan." Her heart jumped so hard it almost hurt. She stood up too fast, gripping the cleaning cloth in her hand as if it could steady her. When she turned, Ryan Miller was standing just inside the doorway, rain clinging to his dark jacket, his hair slightly damp, his posture unsure but respectful. For a second, Emily forgot how to breathe. Ryan was her best friend, Sarah's son. She had known him since he was a teenager who barely spoke above a whisper, who sat quietly at the edge of family gatherings and smiled politely when spoken to. But the man standing in her living room now was not that boy. He was tall, broad-shouldered, and carried himself with a calm confidence that caught her off guard. "Oh," Emily said, forcing her voice to sound normal. "Ryan. Hi. I didn't know you were coming." He gave a small smile. "Mom sent me. You weren't answering your phone, and she got worried." Emily glanced toward the kitchen counter where her phone lay face down. She hadn't heard it ring. Lately, she missed a lot of things. "I'm sorry," she said. "I didn't mean to worry anyone." Ryan stepped farther inside, closing the door behind him. "She worries anyway," he said. "Especially about you. Something about that landed deeper than it should have." Emily swallowed and tried to brush it off. "I'm okay," she said. "Just cleaning." Ryan looked around the room. The house was neat but not alive. It looked like a place someone passed through, not lived in. "You don't have to do everything alone," he said quietly. Emily paused. She wasn't sure why his words hit her so hard. Maybe because no one had said them in a long time. "Used to it," she replied. Ryan hesitated, then shrugged off his jacket. "Mind if I help?" She almost laughed. "You really don't have to. I want to," he said simply. Something in his tone made it hard to argue. Emily nodded, and they moved through the house together, working quickly, not talking much. At first, Ryan folded blankets, picked up magazines, took out the trash. He didn't act uncomfortable or awkward. He moved like he belonged there. The silence between them wasn't empty. It felt thoughtful, like both of them were holding back words. After a while, Ryan broke it. "How have you really been?" Emily didn't answer right away. She kept wiping the kitchen counter, staring at the faint reflection of her hands. "I'm fine," she said. The automatic answer she gave everyone. Ryan stopped what he was doing. "They don't sound fine." She looked up, surprised by the honesty in his voice. "I have good days," she said carefully, "and days that feel very long." Ryan nodded. "I get that." She studied him. "You do?" he said. "After my dad died, things felt quiet in a way I couldn't explain. I noticed when you came around more. You helped Mom. You helped me too, even if you didn't know it." Emily felt a tightness in her chest. She hadn't realized he remembered those moments. They finished cleaning faster than she expected. When everything was done, Emily offered him a glass of iced tea. They sat at the small kitchen table, rain streaking the windows beside them. For a moment, neither spoke. Ryan wrapped his hands around the glass, staring into it as if gathering courage. Emily sensed something coming, something important. "Can I tell you something?" he asked. Her heart began to race. Of course, he took a slow breath. "Wanted to say this for a long time, and I don't know if it's the right moment, but it feels wrong to keep quiet anymore." Emily felt her stomach tighten. She told herself to stay calm, to remember who he was. Ryan lifted his eyes to hers. "You've always been kind to me," he said. "Even when I was younger, you listened. You made me feel like I mattered." Emily's throat went dry. "Ryan, I know what you're thinking," he said quickly. "Guys, and I know this is complicated." He stood up, pacing once before stopping in front of her. "But being around you makes me feel safe. And lately, feels like more than that." The words hung between them. Emily stood slowly, her chair scraping against the floor. "You're my friend's son," she said softly, more to herself than to him. "I know," Ryan said. "That's why I tried to ignore it. For years." Her pulse thundered in her ears. "I didn't understand it at first," he continued. "I thought it was admiration or gratitude, but it didn't go away. It grew." Emily shook her head slightly, overwhelmed. "Ryan, this isn't something we can just— I'm not asking for anything," he said quickly. "I just needed you to know." She looked at him, really looked at him. He wasn't reckless. He wasn't acting on impulse. He looked nervous, vulnerable, and honest in a way that scared her. "I think I've loved you longer than I understood what love was," Ryan said quietly. The room felt suddenly smaller, the air heavier. Emily couldn't speak. Her mind raced through every reason this shouldn't exist, every boundary that mattered, every fear she carried. But beneath all of that was a feeling she didn't want to admit, a warmth she had felt in his presence, a comfort she hadn't known she was missing. Ryan noticed her silence and stepped back. "I'm sorry," he said. "I shouldn't have put this on you." He grabbed his jacket, his movements stiff. "I'll go. I didn't mean to make things hard." As he reached the door, Emily felt panic rise in her chest. "Ryan," she said. He turned. "I don't know what to say right now," she admitted. "But thank you for trusting me with something that real." He nodded once, his expression gentle but guarded. "That's all I wanted." When the door closed behind him, Emily sank into the nearest chair, her hands trembling. The house was quiet again, but this time it didn't feel empty. It felt like the moment before everything changes. Emily Carter woke before sunrise, her heart already racing. Ryan's words from that rainy afternoon had not faded with sleep. They followed her into the quiet morning, into the soft light creeping through the blinds, into the silence she could no longer escape. She lay still, staring at the ceiling, knowing something inside her had shifted for good. She told herself it was impossible. She told herself it was wrong to even think about it. But feelings do not disappear just because they are inconvenient. Emily went through her day on autopilot. Coffee went cold on the counter. Emails stayed unread. Every few minutes her phone caught her attention, even though it never buzzed. Ryan didn't call. He didn't text. That absence felt heavier than his confession. Days passed like that. She returned to work, smiled when required, answered Sarah's cheerful messages with short replies. Sarah noticed, of course. She always did. "You've been quiet lately," Sarah said on the phone one evening. "Are you okay?" Emily hesitated. "I'm just tired," she replied. Sarah sighed. "Come over this weekend. Dinner at my place." No excuses. Emily agreed before she could talk herself out of it. The moment she hung up, her stomach tightened. Ryan would be there. She was sure of it. Saturday arrived too fast. Emily stood in front of her mirror, unsure why she cared so much about what she wore. She chose something simple, nothing that could be misunderstood. Still, her heart beat faster the closer she got to Sarah's house. The moment she stepped inside, familiar warmth greeted her. Laughter, music, the smell of food. It felt like stepping into a life she used to belong to. Then she saw Ryan. He was standing near the kitchen, talking with his uncle, his posture relaxed but his eyes serious. When he noticed her, the room seemed to pause. Their eyes met. Nothing dramatic happened. No one spoke. But everything changed. Ryan gave a small nod, respectful, careful. Emily returned it, her chest tight. Throughout dinner, they avoided sitting near each other. Sarah chatted happily. unaware of the quiet tension stretching across the table. Emily answered questions, laughed at the right moments, but her attention kept drifting back to Ryan. She noticed the way he listened more than he spoke, the way he glanced at her when he thought no one noticed, the way he seemed older than his years, carrying something heavy but controlled. After dessert, Sarah's phone rang. "I have to take this," she said, stepping outside. "Back in a minute." The house fell into a different kind of quiet. Ryan stood near the window, staring out at the darkening sky. Emily remained seated, unsure whether to speak. "I didn't mean to make things awkward," Ryan said, finally, without turning around. Emily stood slowly. "You didn't," she replied. "You were honest." He faced her then, and honesty can complicate things. "Yes," she said, "it can." They stood a few feet apart, leaving space between them like an unspoken rule. "I've thought about what you said," Emily continued. "More than I probably should have." Ryan's jaw tightened. "And—" She took a breath. "I can't pretend I feel nothing. But I can't pretend this is simple either." "I don't want simple," Ryan said. "I just want real." His words hit her harder than she expected. "I'm scared," Emily admitted. "Not of you. Of what this could mean." Ryan nodded. "So am I." They didn't move closer. They didn't touch. But the understanding between them felt deeper than any gesture. Sarah returned moments later, cheerful and unaware. The moment passed, but it didn't disappear. After that night, things changed quietly. Ryan didn't avoid Emily, but he didn't push either. He checked in with thoughtful messages, short, respectful, never crossing lines. Emily appreciated that more than she could say. Weeks turned into months. Emily found herself smiling more, sleeping better, feeling alive in ways she hadn't in years. She hated herself for it sometimes. Other times, she accepted it as truth. One afternoon, Sarah invited Emily for a walk. The leaves had started to change, painting the sidewalks in warm colors. "You seem lighter," Sarah said casually. "Happier." Emily froze. "Do I?" Sarah smiled. "Yeah. And I'm glad." Emily swallowed. The weight of what she hadn't said pressed against her chest. "Sarah, can I ask you something? Anything." "How would you feel," Emily said carefully, "if someone unexpected cared deeply about me?" Sarah laughed softly. "I'd be happy for you. You deserve love, Em. After everything. You really do." Emily felt tears sting her eyes. Sarah had no idea how close she was to the truth. That night, Emily sat alone, thinking about Ryan, about boundaries, about time. She realized something then. Fear had ruled her life long enough. She invited Ryan for coffee. They met at a quiet cafe near the river. Sunlight streamed through the windows, warming the small space. Ryan looked nervous when he arrived. "You okay?" he asked. "I think so," Emily said. "I needed to talk to you." He nodded. "I'm listening." She didn't rush. She spoke carefully, honestly, about her fears, about Sarah, about the line between right and wrong, about how unexpected feelings can still be real. "Okay?" Ryan listened. Without interrupting, "Not asking for promises," Emily said. "I'm not asking for anything that hurts people we love." Ryan leaned forward slightly. "And what are you asking for?" "Time," she said. "And honesty." A small smile appeared on his face. "I can do that." They walked by the river after, keeping a respectful distance, talking about life, about loss, about hope. No grand gestures, no rushing. Just two people choosing care. Emily knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy. There would be conversations, boundaries, hard moments. But for the first time in a long time, she didn't feel empty. As they parted ways, Ryan said, "Whatever happens, I'm glad you didn't turn away." Emily smiled softly. "So am I." She watched him walk off, feeling something she hadn't felt in years. Not fear, not regret, but quiet, steady hope.